Welcome to Quiz Time. My name is Simon. Sit back, relax, and get ready for the next 100 questions. Let's get started. Which French chef's cookbook revolutionized American cooking in 1961? Julia Child, Auguste Escoffier, or Jacques Pepin? Julia Child is correct. The Angry Young Men literary movement originated in which country? United States, Britain, or France? Britain is correct. What cocktail became synonymous with 1950s sophistication? Old Fashioned, Manhattan, or a martini? A martini is correct. Which Italian director's La Dolce Vita scandalized audiences in 1960? Federico Fellini, Michelangelo Antonio, or Luciano Visconti? Federico Fellini. The Caesar salad was first served at which Mexican resort city? Acapulco, Cancun, or Tijuana? Tijuana is correct. What dance craze swept America before the twist? The stroll, the mambo, or the cha-cha? The mambo is correct. Which fashion magazine launched the Youth Quake movement? Harper's Bazaar, Vogue, or Elle? Vogue is correct. The Nouvelle Vogue cinema movement emerged from which city? Paris, Rome, or London? Paris is correct. What spice blend became essential to 1950s American kitchens? Chinese five-spice, herbs de Provence, or season all? Season all. Which beat poet performed at the legendary Six Gallery reading? Gary Snyder, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, or Michael McClure? Gary Snyder is correct. The tiki bar phenomenon originated from which Pacific destination? Hawaii, Fiji, or Polynesia? Polynesia is correct. What theatrical style dominated off-Broadway in the late 1950s? Musical comedy, theater of the absurd, or method realism? Theater of the absurd is correct. Which European cheese became popular in American fondue parties? Gruyere, Brie, or Camembert? Gruyere is the correct cheese. The kitchen sink drama movement was led by which playwright? Harold Pinter, Tom Stoppard, or John Osborne? John Osborne. What cocktail spirit fueled the tiki cocktail revolution? Rum, vodka, or tequila? Rum is correct. Which photographer captured the essence of 1950s youth culture? Dennis Stock, Richard Avedon, or Irving Penn? Dennis Stock is correct. The continental cuisine trend introduced Americans to which cooking method? Poaching, flambeing, or grilling? Flambeing is correct. What avant-garde art movement preceded pop art? Neo-Dada, minimalism, conceptual art? Neo-Dada is correct. Which Italian aperitif became fashionable in American cocktail culture? Aperol, Campari, Cynar? Campari is correct. The happening movement was pioneered by which artist? Robert Rauschenberg, Alan Capro, or Claes Oldenburg? Alan Capro is correct. What cooking appliance revolutionized 1950s suburban kitchens? Blender, toaster oven, or electric skillet? Electric skillet is correct. Which fashion designer created the sack dress silhouette? Pierre Cardin, Hubert de Givenchy, or Cristobal Balenciaga? Cristobal Balenciaga is correct. The espresso machine culture arrived in America from which region? Italy, France, Austria? Italy is correct. What musical genre emerged from the collision of country and R&B? Soul, rockabilly, or doo-wop? Rockabilly is correct. Which exotic fruit first appeared in American supermarkets during this era? Kiwi, mango, papaya? Kiwi is the correct fruit. The Rat Pack entertainment style originated in which city? New York, Las Vegas, Los Angeles? Las Vegas is correct. Which European pastry technique influenced American dessert making? Italian gelato, Australian strudel, or French patisserie? French patisserie is correct. Which abstract expressionist painter influenced fashion design? Barnett Newman, Mark Rothko, or Willem de Kooning? Mark Rothko is correct. The surf and turf dining concept emerged from which region? New England, Gulf Coast, or California? California is correct. What literary technique defined the confessional poetry movement? Personal revelation, stream of consciousness, or historical narrative? Personal revelation is correct. Which cheese fondue originated in Switzerland's mountains? Appenzeller, Emmental, or Raclette? Emmental is the correct one. The cool jazz movement centered around which recording label? Prestige, Blue Note, or Capitol? Capitol is correct. What exotic spice became popular in American ethnic cooking? Cardamom, curry spice, or star anise? Curry powder is correct. Which European film movement influenced American independent cinema? German Expressionism, Italian Neorealism, or Soviet montage? Italian Neorealism is correct. The California cuisine concept emerged from which culinary influence? Mexican, Mediterranean, or Asian? Mediterranean is correct. What dance form did Martha Graham develop that became internationally recognized? Jazz dance, ballet moderne, or modern dance? Modern dance is correct. Which tropical destination became accessible to middle-class Americans? Bermuda, Miami Beach, or Caribbean? Miami Beach. The Nouvelle Cuisine movement rejected which traditional approach? Regional ingredients, heavy sauces, or seasonal cooking? Heavy sauces is correct. What artistic medium gained prominence in commercial design? Photography, watercolor, or lithography? Photography is correct. Which international spirit gained popularity in American bars? Irish whiskey, Japanese sake, or Scotch whiskey? Scotch whiskey is correct. The Living Theatre movement challenged which theatrical convention? Musical scores, fourth wall, or costume design? Fourth wall is correct. What comfort food became associated with suburban entertaining? Beef stroganoff, pot roast, or chicken casserole? Beef stroganoff is correct. Which fashion accessory defined 1950s feminine elegance? Pearl necklace, clutch purse, or white gloves? White gloves is correct. The total work of art concept influenced which design field? Architecture, fashion, or graphic design? Architecture is correct. What international coffee preparation method gained American popularity? Turkish coffee, espresso, or French press? Espresso is correct. Which musical instrument became central to cool jazz? Trumpet, saxophone, or vibraphone? Vibraphone is correct. The ethnic food trend introduced Americans to which cuisine first? Mexican, Chinese, or Italian? Chinese is correct. What artistic technique influenced commercial photography? Pop art, surrealism, or abstract expressionism? Pop art is correct. Which European travel destination became fashionable for Americans? Paris, London, or Rome? Paris is correct. The gourmet cooking movement was popularized by which medium? Cookbooks, television, or magazines? Television is correct. What fabric innovation transformed the 1950s fashion? Polyester, nylon, or acrylic? Polyester is correct. Which art form gained recognition as a legitimate cultural expression? Jazz music, folk art, or comic strips? Jazz music. The international style cocktail culture originated from which profession? Airline industry, hotel management, or cruise ships? Airline industry is correct. What cooking technique became associated with outdoor entertaining? Barbecuing, grilling, or smoking? Barbecuing. Which European fashion influence shaped American casual wear? British sportswear, French elegance, or Italian leisure? Italian leisure is correct. The performance art movement emerged from which artistic tradition? Dance, visual arts, or theatre? Visual arts is correct. What exotic protein entered American fine dining? Duck, lamb, or oysters? Lobster is correct. Which musical collaboration defined the Broadway sound? Lerner and Loewe, Bernstein and Sondheim, or Rodgers and Hammerstein? Rodgers and Hammerstein. The casual dining concept originated from which regional style? Southern comfort, California casual, or New England tradition? California casual. What artistic movement influenced interior design aesthetic? Colonial revival, Scandinavian modern, or Art Deco? Scandinavian modern is correct. Which international wine region gained American recognition? Bordeaux, Burgundy, or Champagne? Burgundy is the correct region. The method acting technique originated from which theatrical system? German Brecht, Russian Stanislavski, or British Classical? Russian Stanislavski. What dessert became synonymous with sophisticated entertaining? Tiramisu, chocolate mousse, or creme brulee? Creme brulee is correct. Which fashion silhouette dominated early 1960s style? A-line, sheath, or trapeze? The trapeze is correct. The hard bop jazz movement emerged from which musical influence? Bebop, gospel, or blues? Gospel is the correct answer. What culinary herb became essential to continental cooking? Tarragon, basil, or oregano? Tarragon is correct. Which European design movement influenced American modernism? Bauhaus, Art Nouveau, or De Stijl? Bauhaus is correct. The exotic cocktail trend was inspired by which cultural phenomenon? World War II, Latin music, or Polynesian culture? Polynesian culture is correct. What artistic medium gained commercial application in advertising? Oil painting, sculpture, or graphic design? Graphic design is correct. Which international cheese became popular in American households? Roquefort, Gouda, or Swiss? Swiss cheese is correct. The space-age design aesthetic influenced which industry first? Automotive, fashion, or furniture? Furniture. What beverage became associated with sophisticated entertaining? Wine, champagne, or cocktails? Champagne is correct. Which musical genre influenced early rock and roll development? Country, rhythm and blues, or folk? Rhythm and blues is correct. The California lifestyle concept was popularized by which medium? Television, movies, or magazines? Magazines is correct. What exotic spice blend became popular in American cooking? Herbes de Provence, garam masala, or curry powder? Curry powder is correct. Which artistic movement influenced commercial package design? Abstract art, surrealism, or impressionism? Abstract art. The international cuisine trend introduced which cooking method? Sautéing, stir-frying, or braising? Sautéing is correct. What fashion accessory defined masculine sophistication? Cufflinks, pocket watch, or tie clip? Cufflinks is correct. Which European travel experience became accessible to Americans? Grand Tour, art museums, or music festivals? Art museums is correct. The Gourmet Society movement was influenced by which cultural shift? Urbanization, prosperity, or education? Prosperity. What artistic technique influenced textile design? color field painting, pointillism, or cubism? Color field painting is correct. What international spirit became fashionable in cocktail culture? Brandy, gin, or vodka? Vodka is correct. The suburban entertaining style was characterized by which element? Casualness, formality, or elegance? Casualness is correct. What musical innovation influenced popular song structure? Folk melody, jazz harmony, or classical form? Folk melody. Which European pastry technique influenced American baking? Danish method, French technique, or German tradition? French technique is correct. The modern living concept was prompted by which design philosophy? Functionalism, form follows function, or less is more? Form follows function is correct. What exotic ingredient became available to American home cooks? Soy sauce, balsamic vinegar, or olive oil? Olive oil is correct. Which fashion trend reflected changing attitudes? Miniskirts, casual wear, or sportswear? Casual wear is correct. The art film movement emerged from which cinematic tradition? Documentary, European cinema, or independent film? European cinema. What culinary concept revolutionized American dining? Fast food, ethnic cuisine, or health food? Ethnic cuisine is correct. Which artistic medium gained prominence in home decoration? Photography, sculpture, or prints? Photography is correct. The sophisticated cocktail culture was influenced by which profession? Hospitality, advertising, or entertainment? Advertising is correct. What international food preparation gained American popularity? Tempura, paella, or fondue? Fondue is correct. Which musical style influenced the development of soul music? Gospel, jazz, or blues? Gospel is correct. The designer lifestyle concept emerged from which cultural influence? Hollywood, European sophistication, or Madison Avenue? European sophistication. What artistic movements influenced fashion photography? Surrealism, pop art, or abstract expressionism? Abstract expressionism. Which travel destination became synonymous with sophistication? Europe, New York, or California? That's right, it's Europe. The gourmet dining movement was characterized by which element? Regional cuisine, traditional recipes, or international influence? International influence is correct. What fashion innovation reflected changing lifestyle patterns? Ready to wear, synthetic fibers, or casual clothing? Casual clothing is correct. Which cultural phenomenon most influenced American taste during this era? International travel, television, or suburban living? International travel is correct. Congratulations and well done on completing this quiz. Please remember to leave your score below in the comments, and as always, like and subscribe so we can see you next time for some fun on quiz time.